Yo, 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 it's your boy Verlo. We're back. You know what the deal is, man. Vinyl pickup number 4. You know how this goes. And if you don't, you probably knew. So, what's up? I spent a few minutes talking about the newest vinyl that I picked up. So, let's get into it, man. Ain't gonna waste no time today, because my battery's running low and I gotta go. Listen, bars. What should I start off with? Okay. So, I mentioned this in my last video. My last vinyl pickup. So, gotta start off with the man himself, Redveil. So, this guy's not known, not yet at least. But this kid, I call him a kid, but he's not a kid. But this kid has a tremendous talent. This is the record, "Learn to Swim." Love the cover. Try and get a close up on that. I came across this record and him last year because I was making a video on the best albums of 2022, which I never finished, so don't worry about that. But I came across this album because someone recommended it, and I was like, you know what, let me give it a chance. I heard one song and it seemed like it was up my alley. Checked out the whole project, fell in love ever since. And I didn't even know that they had this record out. I didn't know that this was a thing. But I am subbed to a channel, which a lot of you probably are, called Turning the Tables. Shout out to you guys. If you guys ever come across this or like a sub is watching this, tell them I said that. I love their content. I love the dichotomy between the father and son and them learning, discovering new music together. And just that whole thing is very wholesome. But yeah, they had this record in the background, just chilling on like a little mantle, and I was like, no way, they got an actual record for that. So I checked it out, couldn't find it anywhere, and then oddly enough, Urban Outfitters had it. I'm assuming this is an Urban Outfitters exclusive. Comes on blue vinyl, if I'm not mistaken. To be honest, I've never even checked out the vinyl. So let's do that right now, actually. I just saw that it was available. I was like, yo, I gotta get that. I've been playing this record front to back a whole bunch. And obviously, you know me, I have my standout tracks. Look at that. Deep Sea Blue. Sweet. Really nice. Should probably get some close-up shots of that. But, yeah, I was checking out this project and I was just really enamored, man. Like, he was giving me a vibes of like a few people. There's a rapper named Marco Plus, I believe. He was giving me vibes of him. He was also giving me JID vibes a little bit, but overall, like, he has his own sound. He's doing his own thing. I think he has a classic under his hand. I gotta re-listen to it before I really give it that, certified stamp. But as far as I remember, I was really fucking with this. I like a lot of tracks on here, and like usual, I gotta give you my standout tracks. So let's just start with the one that is my favorite off top, which is Better. Better is track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Track number 6. Better featuring Sam Truth. This track is hands down one of my most played. It was in my top 100 songs of last year, I believe, and for good reason, man. It's actually not that long of a track. I fucking love the chorus. I just love the way he breaks down his rap, and he really only has one real verse in that song, but that one verse to me is so impactful, especially the end, where he's talking about hitting the pavement and breaking the surface and all that. If you know, you know. If you don't, go find out. Amazing track. I can't get enough of that one. And it also gives me, it reminds me, maybe because they both have Better in the title, but if you like Ab Soul, which I should have his record, but TDE fucked up my order, so I guess I'll never get that now, which kind of sucks because I can't find it anywhere. But yeah, Ab Soul dropped a project called Herbert, and unfortunately, I don't know what happened with my order with that. I placed in an order numerous times, and it just never seemed to go through for whatever reason. I never really had that happen like that, but I'm missing out on that one. Anyway, back on topic. PG Baby. PG Baby is the track that got me into Redveil in this project. There's a remix out with Denzel Curry that's actually pretty fire. It's a shame that it's not on here, but check that out too if you like Denzel, because they both did their thing. And it is a remix, so it's very similar to the original, but they just add a little bit of spice on there to make it, pop a bit more, which I actually enjoyed a lot. Because I'm not really a big fan of when like people do remixes, kind of like that Beyonce and Kendrick Lamar remix that came out like a week ago, America Has a Problem or something like that, where it sounds almost identical to the original, except there's just a new verse on it. I like when they change up the sound a little bit, but anyway, PG Baby, great song. My favorites, obviously, Better, PG Baby, New Info. Ooh, New Info is nice. New Info has that mixtape like vibe and feel to it. Like it starts off like how old, like a lot of old Dat Piff DJ Drama mixtapes will start off. Like the nice clean sample that sounds a bit greedy in a way. I just said clean and gritty, but if you listen to the song, then you kind of know what I mean. Like it sounds like it's like a lot of these tracks, and maybe that was the intention that I'm thinking about it, because the album is called Learn to Swim, but a lot of the tracks when they're starting off or like ending, they sound like they're going underwater or like they're coming out of water. It sounds a bit muddled, and then the clarity gets there, which is kind of what I meant by like the gritty and the clean. I really like that aspect. Didn't really notice that the first time through, but after a few listens, I was definitely picking up on that. Unfortunately, Urban Outfitters sucks, and like Walmart, Urban Outfitters, all of those places that sell records but aren't really known for selling records, when they ship stuff, I've always had it come fucked up in some way or messed up in some way. Now this one is a bit minor, so I didn't return it, but I kind of thought like I should. This is probably not gonna be able to see this, but on the spine itself, if it would even focus, but on the spine itself, there's like a slight split, which is what they call like a seam split, from the record hitting it in transition over and over again, and then it leaves like a little like opening, which sucks, because I'm very big on having my shit like perfectly fine, especially because I plan on having a lot of these till I'm old. But whatever. I've had worse. I had a Danny Brown project. Ooh, by the way, spoiler, Danny Brown's up next. But I had a Danny Brown project, the one I have up there. You Know What I'm Saying, which is the name of the album. I'm not saying You Know What I'm Saying, and that one came fucking destroyed, and I had to like return it and then get a new copy, and then the second copy was even worse than the first, and then a whole different headache. But basically just saying, Urban Outfitters, man, Walmart, any of y'all motherfuckers watching this, do better, bro. Do better, especially when you got a classic on your hands. You can't be fucking it up. Amazon does pretty well with like shipping their stuff, man. Fucking take some cues. Oh yeah, but before I actually cut this one off, I want to give a shout out to the track Automatic and Home. Those aren't my favorite, but for some reason when those come on, those are like the ones that like, ooh, it puts me in that vibe. It puts me in that nice little feel good vibe, especially because Automatic has like a mantra almost. Like the chorus is very repetitive, which I'm usually not that much of a fan of, but it carries over well, man. They do amazing things here. I don't know if I showed off the inside, but let's do that one more time. This whole thing is almost like a painting, like a very watercolor heavy painting. And this is, once again, Redveil, Learn to Swim. I said I'll be quick, and look, I'm spending a few minutes, more than a few minutes on one record. This record, oof. Speaking of Redveil, and speaking of Danny Brown, these two actually did a collab. For anybody that likes Danny Brown, but Danny Brown has a collab record. With JPEG Mafia, and it's called Scaring the Hoes. Came out this year. It's definitely gonna be in one of my most played albums of this year, because I had that shit on repeat when it came out, and I did cop the vinyl. It was way too expensive. It was like $65 or some shit like that, or maybe 55 and then 65 after shipping, or 65 and 70 after shipping. Regardless, way too much. But I don't know, man. I knew it was special from the second that I was hearing it. I was like, yo, this is different. Like, this is different. And I already know Danny, like, and like the lane that he can go, especially if you know this project, which is a great project, by the way. This is called ATROCITY Exhibition. Fire cover. And I'm mad at myself because I don't know if you can tell, but right here on this side, I had to tape it back. But I had my Little Yachty Let's Start Here record next to this one on my shelf. But the flap, see, this is where the fucking sleeves become a problem sometimes. The flap that like seals the actual jacket, it was open and I didn't know. So for like a good month or so, or maybe 2 months, it was stuck to this record. So then one day when I pulled them both out, it just kind of ripped this one. Like, and like if you can see, I mean, thankfully, the way that this LP cover looks, it's all distorted with the words and whatnot, but like the little split goes straight down the middle, like straight down here. I don't know if that's gonna be able to be picked up, but yeah, I was mad at myself for that one. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, at least I still got the record, you know? Count your blessings. But this is a fantastic record. They actually collabed on their newest project on a song called Kingdom Hearts. So, hey, there's a reason. There's a reason for this, right? If you like Redveil, if you like what you hear, and if you like Danny Brown or either or, check out that newest project and check out the collab song that they did. Once again, it's called Kingdom Hearts. But back to this record. For those of you that know, you know, this is not for everybody. This is underground experimental rap at its finest. With that being said, a lot of weird shit on here. A lot of weird textures and sounds and samples and beat selections. Like a lot of the beats, like you're gonna hear some of these songs and you're like, what? Like, why? And what is he doing on that? But with that being said, Danny has a classic on his hands. This is definitely a classic album, especially in this realm of rap, like that experimental underground rap. Hands down. I mean, if someone has this record, then they probably know, and they would probably most likely agree. This is a classic record. Most people know track 4, which is really dope, because it has the most features. It has Kendrick Lamar on there, Ab-Soul, and Earl Sweatshirt, which is a fire song, by the way, one of the best songs. But I feel like the more you go, it's more of a downward spiral, you know, pun intended, because track 1 is called Downward Spiral. But the further you go down into the project, the more chaotic it gets, the more just all over the place it gets, and in a good way. With that being said, my favorite tracks on this project would have to be this is easy. Really Though, which is track 4. Track 5, Lost. Yo, well, actually, now that I'm looking at it, this whole run of like starting at track 4, Really Though, Lost, Ain't It Funny. I probably would skip Gold Dust. It's not a bad song. I'm just not gonna put it in that pairing. But White Lines and Pneumonia, fire, man, fire. I think my most played on this album would probably have to be White Lines. Just a very weird, I don't know if I don't want to call it a sample, but the song has some weird sounds in it, and it's fucking fire. Pneumonia is something you put on when you're in the car driving in the whip. That song bangs. And then you got like your more chill songs, which I wasn't expecting the first time listening to this, especially with like a lot of the songs very loud and chaotic. Like Get High and Hell For It, which is the last 2 tracks. Definitely got like that slower, obviously getting high vibe, but very somber, and I kind of fuck with that. I usually like albums to end out on a banger, but I like the change of pace on this one, especially because you got so much of that in your face experimental sounds all throughout the album. So it was nice to get that contrast at the very end. And once again, I fucking love this cover. It's all blurry and everything because it's supposed to be like that, but it's fire. It's fire. Obviously, a lot of this is talking about drugs and whatnot, so his face is melting. So, you know, there goes the correlation. And Detroit on the back because he's from Detroit. This is Danny Brown, Atrocity Exhibition. If you like weird shit, check that out. Next, let's talk about this song. Unfortunately, I think this is my first record by this person, and this is one of like easily my top 10 of my favorite rappers of all time, and that's Lupe Fiasco, which is a shame. I need to get more records by him. He also needs to release more stuff on records, but I digress. This is Drill Music in Zion. I actually have a painting that I have right here. Unfortunately, I can't show you, but it's actually inspired by this cover with the white borders and then, the bold, like one bold color followed by a multitude of colors. It's like a little skull in there too. Let's see if you can see that. But yeah, Drill Music in Zion by Lupe Fiasco. A short project, as you can see. Not that many tracks on there, but the tracks that are on there, I fucking love. Easily was some of my most played songs. And my favorites would have to be. Oh, first off, let me just speak on two tracks in particular. Well, actually, no. You know what? Let me just speak on all of them, because why not? I feel like they all get an equal amount of play. But the first track, The Lion's Den, play on the words The Lion's Den, but featuring Aisha Jocko. That is a great intro to an album. Some other people may not feel that way because it's very much on that like spoken word type of vibe, but she kills that shit. And if you want to listen to this project, just listen to that first one. It doesn't really have anything. I mean, I won't say it doesn't have anything to do with the album, but its sound is very different. It's clearly an intro track, but just listen to the way that she's flowing and the shit that she's saying. It really drives home the point of drill music in Zion, and to understand what that means if you know what Zion represents and whatnot, and drill music being, the chaotic music that it is, and like the correspondent of the two. And yeah, I feel like that is an amazing intro track. I always play that one. There's like 5 that I always play, like whenever I'm setting up my cue, as I do when I'm always playing music. And that would be track number 1, which is The Lion's Den, like I said. Or I guess you could call it Den. And track number, what is this, 5? Track number 5, Kiosk. Followed by Miss Mural. These two tracks always play back to back, obviously, because they do come right after each other on the record. But they both have that feel to me, like a slower, it's very much like a storytelling vibe. And both of these tracks, I think I compare them as well, because they're both told from the perspective of like someone speaking about something. So Kiosk, you can obviously tell that like this is from the point of view, and I didn't get this for the first time. I don't know how. I'm very big on bars, but it's about, this guy walking through a mall, and this guy who works at a kiosk is trying to pitch him something, trying to sell him something. And once obviously me saying that and then you go hearing the track, you're gonna be like, oh, duh. But I played this a few times and didn't even catch on to that, even though the end is pretty on the nose. But once I made that, revelation, I was like, oh, this track is even better, especially when you think about in the context of what the album's talking about. But followed by Miss Mural, which also has an interlude, but probably, I want to say it's my most played. It's probably tied between that and a song called Seattle, which I'm going to talk about next. Those two, easily my most played. Miss Mural, if you know Lupe Fiasco, he has an ongoing callback where like he names these songs Mural something. So like Tetsuo and Youth, which is a project from a little while ago, a similar cover. He has a song called Mural, which is what he started. One of my favorite songs by him by all time. It's like I forgot how long. It's like an 8-minute, I want to say like an 8 or 9 minute just onslaught of abstract bars. And like, if you don't like rapidy rap type shit, you might not like that song because there's no chorus. It's just bars. Like, it starts in, there's a big chorus, a big intro, probably like 50 seconds long, and then he's just spitting for like 7 to 8 minutes after that. And even if you're not into that, I highly recommend checking that out just to see how much of a marvel that song is. And the reason why it's called mural, or I would assume, is just because he's painting this very vivid picture with words, just detailing so much different things, bar after bar, and like bring up the lyrics, read what he's saying, because it's amazing. It's worth speaking about, so much so that I had to even give you some backstory. But and this one is called Miss Mural, which is his third track titled like this. I believe in a project or two ago, he had a track called Mural Junior. So obviously there's three of them. There's Mural, Mural Junior, and Miss Mural. And this is the third one. And this one's fire to me. It's basically, once again, written from the point of view of somebody, which is the point of view of a painter having a conversation with someone that he's painting. And I guess you could call it a patron. And it sounds so simple, and it is, but like the way that he just words shit, man, and I got this song down like line for line, and the way that he just words things and puts words together and paints a picture is why he's one of my favorites. This isn't my favorite project by Lupe, but regardless, I saw it, I had to get it, especially because I don't have any records by him, which is a shame. But if you don't listen to Lupe, check him out. Start with, I would say start with the album The Cool. That's probably my favorite. But this is also a good starting point too, because it's short and it's sweet. Like I said, it's only like a handful of tracks. And this is actually a gatefold, by the way, but it's super simple on the inside. Didn't even show anything. Just says drill music in Zion. And you get a picture of Lupe himself. Super simple. I kind of wish he would have done more, but at the same time, the fact that it's so simplistic is part of the reason why I like Jacket so much. But yeah, Miss Mural is a great track. Once again, it's pretty lengthy, maybe like 6 minutes or so. But fire storytelling, one of my favorite storytellers. And the next track I'm going to talk about is Seattle. Actually, let's talk about the last two, because I forgot about the last one. Seattle, probably tied with Miss Mural for the most played, but Seattle might have to take that, because this is just this song is air candy to me. Who's singing this? Naira, I believe that's how you say it. I've seen her name before, but I love her performance on this track. If you don't listen to Lupe, maybe start with that one. That's a fire track. It has your more traditional aspect of like, you know, a verse and then followed by the very glitzy, almost pop-like chorus. And regardless, it's a fire track. Her voice is like air crack to me. Part of the reason why I play that song so much. And then the big climax at the end, well, not really climax, but like the meshing of them singing together. It's very, very pleasing to the ear. Definitely the most accessible song on this album by far. And the most radio friendly, I would say. And even with that being said, it's one of the best songs on here. And lastly, we got On Phoneme, which is the very last track, which is very introspective. Damn, this thing is all white. You're probably not gonna see any of that, but that's probably not a track for everybody. Because I feel like, well, then again, he's not for everybody. But I feel like a lot of what he's gonna say or what he's trying to convey is going over people's heads. But it's a great closer track, especially, you know, with like the topic of the album. He covers a lot of things, you know, talking about how like certain rappers are glorifying or rapping about certain things that are hurting the community to a certain degree and whatnot. And I get him in that aspect. At the same time, I still listen to all that type of rap anyway. But overall, great song. Verse 1 is pretty funny to me. If you know that song, you know. If you don't, then just go listen to verse 1. It's literally like one sentence. But overall, it's good. It's good. It's great. And next up, and once again, that's Lupe Fiasco, Drill Music in Zion. And lastly, we're doing 4 records today. Unlike the last video, I only had 3. But this is COCODRILLO Turbo by Action Bronson. And I know a lot of people don't listen to Action Bronson. Weird cover. A lot of his covers are very weird. Don't know if he paints them himself, but yeah. Action Bronson, I don't really hear a lot of people that really listen to him. Kind of like Flatbush Zombies, like he's from New York, but I don't feel like he properly gets that New York love, but fortunately, I've been seeing him pop up more on like a lot of people's projects, especially because he hangs around with The Alchemist, and that's one of my favorite producers, and rightfully so. So hopefully he's getting more shine. I like to see that. But this is a short project, and this was actually $12. I saw this in the store, and I was like, why is this so cheap? I guess it's because the project is so short itself. A lot of weird samples on here. A lot of weird samples. It probably isn't for everybody. Tong Po, which is like the second track, Hound Dog. Honestly, a lot of these have some pretty weird samples, but that's kind of the reason why I fuck with it. He's definitely doing his own thing, you know, like he's in that Alchemist like realm of rappers, you know, like the Rock Marcianos, the Damo Genesis, the Freddie Gibbs, and you know, the Currency and all that. Like he's in that realm, but kind of made it his own, especially on projects like this where he's just taking these samples and these beat breaks that you normally wouldn't come across on like that, you know, on like a rap record, kind of like Danny, and just making it his own. And I respect him for that. I also respect him because he has a show on a food show on YouTube called Fuck That's Delicious, and I'm an avid watcher of that, man. Great. I'm a fat ass. I'm a skinny guy, but I'm a fat ass. But yeah, I got a lot of respect for this dude and a lot of respect for this project. I don't know what project by Action Bronson is my favorite, but I definitely thought that this one was worth the cop, especially because it was so cheap. I was like, why not? You know, just throw that in there. And this is a exclusive, so this is on black ice vinyl. Maybe I'll show it off, maybe not. Probably not, because this is still in the shrink wrap for whatever reason. I still haven't taken it out yet, and I've had this one before all the records that I got here. But yeah, whatever. I'm gonna get to it, and whatever I do, I'll probably show it off in another video. But gotta talk about the tracks that stand out to me, or the ones that I play the most. Hound Dog, I'm gonna name a few. Hound Dog, definitely in there. Tong Po, which is track 1 and 2. Jaguar. Jaguar is kind of funny to me. I like that one. It's probably my most played. And lastly, 91. Overall, short project, real sweet. Don't have too much to say about it. I was just like, I just saw this the other day when I was at the mall, and I was just browsing through some records, you know, just trying to see if there was any that was worth buying. I saw this on sale, and I was like, you know what, why not? I need to make a vinyl video anyway, so let's just get that out the way. And so yeah, man, that's my 4. Like I said in a previous video, I have a bunch of records on the way. I guess I'll just spoil them because it's like a lot of them are not coming anytime soon. I didn't get Tyler the Creator estate sale because I already got Call Me If You Get Lost, but that's been on the mind. But Issa Gold, I got his 2 LPs, which is called Tempest 1 and 2. That was supposed to ship 2 months after December of last year. Never heard anything back. Emailed them, never heard anything back. But you know, everything with vinyl these days is taking so much longer. Everything's being pushed back, so I'm not even really stressing it. It is what it is. But that's 1. JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown, Scaring the Hoes, like I mentioned before. Waiting on that. Tyler the Creator, Wolf, 10-year anniversary. Waiting on that one. There's a few more. There's definitely a few more that I'm not, you know, really remembering. But whatever. I don't want to spoil too much. Whenever those come in, I think all of those are coming around fall time. At least most of those. They said that like fall is when they should be shipping out. So who knows? That's a minute from now. I'll probably have like 2 or 3 videos out before then. But in case I don't, hey man, this is me checking out, man. Be easy.